People, Deluded, I'm back again. Good evening to you people. It's quite late, I'm not going to lie to you. Arsenal's under 23s have done a madness, but I'm going to review that game either later tomorrow. I'm tired, but I need to get the Napoli review out the way. So we know on Thursday, we're playing Napoli. Now, we know we lost to Everton. We haven't got time to feel sorry for ourselves, people. Not to talk about the Premier League, because that's on pause for a moment, but it was naive to think we're gonna win all our remaining games. I hoped we could. I still hope we can, but it was naive. We're probably gonna drop points again, and hopefully other teams can drop points, and hopefully we do go on a winning run. I saw Socrates said that if we could win 4 games and see what happens, it's probably something to do with that. But against Napoli, ironically, last word on the top 4 in that we want to be in the top 4 in the league. We want to be playing Champions League. Of course, we know we're not going to win it. We'd love to win it, of course, but realistically, we're not going to win Champions League. But we want to return back to the holy grail of club football. It can do a lot for us fans, just watching us on a proper day, like a Tuesday or a Thursday at a proper time. And also, obviously, we can't not speak about what it can do commercially and possibly in terms of bringing players in, depending on how you look at transfers. But yeah, we need to put ourselves in the best position come May. I want to win the Europa League, people, and I'm sure all Arsenal fans do, and if you support Chelsea, you would the same as well. I want to win this. We knew we was going to have to play tough teams at some point, and we're going to play Napoli. I just hope, having been behind in the last 2 previous rounds so far in this competition, obviously since we've qualified, going behind in the first leg and having to put it right, hopefully we don't do that again. We need to put ourselves in the best position come May. I want to win this. Best case scenario is getting top 4 via the league and being in the final. Hopefully we can get into the top 4 if we don't win the Europa League. Hopefully if we don't get into the top 4, we can make the Europa League final and win it, people, because it's a big gamble. Our squad is already being stretched again. Different competitions, but we've seen Torreira suspended, we've seen Socrates obviously is going to be suspended, we've had injuries all up and down, really and truly. We're being tested, and there might come a point where we'll have to put, do we want to get top 4? Do we want to challenge for the Champions League places via the top 4? Do we want to get in the Champions League, obviously, via winning this competition? It's a gamble, because if you're at it, Unai Emery's been around the block, he's experienced. Are these players necessarily the most experienced and the most street smart and the most cerebral as we advance into further rounds? Only they'll be able to answer them questions. But hopefully we win it, man. We know what we need to do. Like, we're playing a Napoli side who have been in a bit of wobbly form of late, to say the least. We'll get onto it. But they're always going to play good football. We know Sarri's not there. Speak of Carlo Ancelotti. If you're a football fan, you love Carlo Ancelotti. He knows what to do in terms of European championships. And he doesn't want to be in the Europa League, and neither did Napoli, because they're in it because of what happened obviously in the Champions League group stages. But yeah, man, I think it's going to be a good game. I feel, being at home, we've got to be a bit smart about this, people. We've got to remember at this point in time, it's 180 minutes of football. We need to remember the away goals rule. Napoli, when I see their formation 4-4-2 and I see how they play, it sounds silly, people, but I'm on a gun. You lot know me. I watch football and I make sensible opinions, but I'm on a gun-ho thing against Napoli. Obviously, be sensible. I'm not saying we need to pour forward, but I feel the best way to beat this Napoli side, considering the form they're on and the football they play, again, we'll get onto it, is to be on the front foot. What's his face? Allen does a good job in midfield. If we can give him, similar to what Juventus did when they defeated Napoli, if we can give him too many jobs to do in midfield and overload their midfield, I think we have a good chance, man. I don't feel they've necessarily been pressing well. If you obviously watched the game against Napoli and obviously their game at Genoa, which at a point they was actually playing against a team with 10 men. Forgive me if I'm wrong and I've miscalculated that. Carlo Ancelotti's even alluded to similar comments in comments after that game. So yeah, I feel they play good football. I feel if we go on the Empoli game, Napoli can't play Napoli in case I said Napoli twice. If we go on the Empoli game, I feel they can counter-attack well. Obviously, you've got the what's the midfield lad that begins with a Z? I can't remember his name, but he's a baller. I want him, man. I made a vid about him. No, you don't know I'm talking about Zelensky or whatever his name is, man. Made a mistake, but we move forward. I think they've got ballers. He's scoring goals. I think the two fullbacks they play at left back, regardless of which ones play, they're very good going forward. Obviously, we linked with their right back as well. He's all right. I'm sure there was a game he got clipped at half time and had to come off because he got stressed. Their fullbacks are central to how they play. Obviously, you've got Mertens, you've got Insigne, you've got what's the striker lad, man? Milik. He's obviously scored 16 goals or more now, or whatever in the league. So they've got hitters, they've got good footballers. But I just think the best way to play these sort of teams is to be on the front foot. Again, we need to be sensible. Apologies, people, low back. Again, we need to be sensible because the away goals rule and things like that. But I feel similar to how we approached the United game and the Spurs game is how we should do it. Create 2v1s down their left-hand side due to the space their both left-backs leave. Similar to how much space Kolasinac leaves for Arsenal and teams try and exploit it. Obviously, they've got people like Mertens, like I've just said, who can obviously trouble them. I feel they sat off too much against Empoli, in my opinion. I feel they presented a lot of chances. I feel credit to them. They get back into position well and get back into this. I'm missing one, people. So obviously 4-4-2 thing, but I really should make it all neat before I talk about what I want to talk about. They get back into position very well, especially behind the ball, people. But I just feel there's more to defending than just getting into position. I feel they get into position very well. He's on their team, people, so ignore him. I feel they get into position, recovery positions, and defend very well. But I don't necessarily feel this team is the best when it comes to following runners. So if we could have Aaron Ramsey making late runs, of course, people. If we could have Aubameyang, obviously. In fact, let's call that Lacazette. Aubameyang into these channels or so. I don't know. I'd probably go Mkhitaryan, to be fair. I'll probably change at the end. If we could have runners, because I don't feel when it comes, I feel Koulibaly and all them man there. It's not even Koulibaly. Koulibaly's sick, but there's not much he can do. I feel we've got 5 defenders there. I feel they get into position very well, people. Apologies if I'm not holding it right. I feel they get into a back four very well, but there's more to defending. I feel at times left backs, not full backs, are not aware. I feel at times even the centre halves are not aware. Key as well is the late runs. Someone like Aaron Ramsey, because while he's trying to pick up X and he's trying to pick up Y and this thing's going on down there and the left back holder's going forward, these late runners, people, obviously football doesn't work like that. Now if you give me a second and I'll remove all of this for a sec again, people, of course in real times, and again I'm not watching Napoli game in game out like I'm sure some of you lot are, but in real terms, it's not exactly a 4-4-2. At times, it's additional 4-4-2. Like I said, when getting into recovery positions, I feel guys like Callejon, the former Madrid man, he's going to work hard down that right-hand side, obviously. So if you're Kola, etc., be wary of the counter. But obviously, it's not going to... Where did I put the other ones? Oh, they're here. Let's remove him. What are we doing? Let's pattern this back, people. Obviously, my man's still playing for us. It's not going to be a traditional 4-4-2. Again, I'm not watching Napoli a lot, but I look at their left-hand side. I look at their left-hand side. They typically play someone that's going to be a bit more inverted and someone that's going to come in and try and link up with their strikers. Let's exaggerate a bit. Try and link up with their strikers. Naturally, that frees up the left-hand role for any of the fullbacks, like I said, to go forward. Right back is not going to need any introduction to go forward. You're going to have midfielders showing for the ball. You're going to have Mertens or Milik, one going long, one going short. You're going to see a whole heap of things, people. So that presents gaps, people. I feel a lot of midfield runners, especially the game against Empoli, our midfield movement has to be spot on. So for me, I know it's the first game, people, and you're looking at it. Napoli are coming away from home. Obviously, if they score, they complicate things for us going forward. But I just feel sitting back is not the best approach, man. Of course, I'm not saying Unai Emery should do what I'm saying. I'm not even talking about Unai Emery. But the away goal can complicate things. And traditionally, looking into a two-legged tie at this point, you're thinking, if you can get a win, great at home because of our fans and stuff and how we are at home generally. If we can get a win and not concede, that's great. And go into the second leg, cool. Worst case scenario, a draw. We go into the second leg from a favourable point because obviously... Basically, with this away goal stuff, it's basically double points. 1 goal stands for 2. I personally would like to do away with it, and I'm a hypocrite because obviously if Arsenal win 1-1, go through on a 1-1 sort of win in the second leg, I'll be the first one gassing it and you lot will see all the vids grinning teeth, but they shouldn't really have that sort of rule. We're going against a side, forgive me if I'm wrong, they're second in their league. I know they've been wobbling a bit, but I'm so sure they're second. I do think they will score against us. I always say this, but I do think both teams will score, to be fair with you. I think they've had a lack of clean sheets. You'd probably have to go back to March, February for the last time they had a sustained run of clean sheets. Again, I don't know what's wrong in regards to Napoli. I don't watch them religiously like that, so you lot know more than me, innit? But if you look at the basis of how they've conceded goals, you look at the loss against Empoli, the draw obviously 1-1 against Genoa, 2-1 Empoli in case I didn't say. Obviously the Genoa game was also his 10 men at a point. They beat Roma 4-1, to be fair with you, but I'm sure at that point, no excuse, it was a good game for them, but I'm sure Roma had their own little stuff going on as a football club in regards to management and stuff and hierarchies and that. 4-2 win against Udinese and a 1-1 win against 1-1 win. That would be silly, innit? A 1-1 draw, sorry, people, against Sassuolo. So regardless of the results, just look between the lines. That's a team that has been conceding a lot of goals. So again, you have to be a bit cerebral. Again, it's easy to speak here before the games happened and after. You've got to be a bit cerebral. Aubameyang's been on the bench, for instance, for a couple of games in the Premier League. Unai Emery might persist with that because just a secret weapon off the bench and things like that. Personally, I would start both our 2 men up front, but we have to be a bit smart. Like I'm calling for all of this, people, saying we should do this. We need to be a bit smart because it's a 2-legged tie. And again, I just want to see us, whether is it Rick or whatever his name is at left back and the other left back, exploit that space, man, because them left back, it's a joy to watch as a fullback, people. Let's ignore all of this. It's a joy to watch, people. This left back their fullbacks need no introduction. That space needs to get exploited, whether it's quick passes from midfield into our runners, people. Whether it's exploit this space, whether it's quick passes from our midfield into our runners or to Aubameyang. Well, I keep saying Aubameyang, should be Lacazette. And Aubameyang hanging off the last hand shoulder. Go away. Hanging on the last shoulder. Exploit this space. Exploit the space. Ignore him. He's now a midfielder for them. Exploit the gaps, man. Exploit the respect that they're going to sit off us, man. Don't if they sit, just play forward. I think we need to be brave. Again, I'm not watching Napoli consistently, but at the same time, our home support, our away support is heavy, and I'm not saying that neither, but in terms of how we are as a football club at home, how our results go at home, I back us at home. Obviously with the fans as a 12th man and the players fancy at home for obvious reasons. Napoli is going to be a very buzzing place to go through as well, man. You got to remember the atmosphere. Italians, listen, to say Italians are passionate about football and Napoli fans specifically are passionate about football is an understatement and is selling them, man, there. Sure, it's going to be a decent game, people, man. We need to just watch out for a lot of things, man. I'd love to overload their midfield. Like I said, the last time they kept a clean sheet was against Red Bull, ironically, in the Europa League in March. I've written that down. Big up myself, man. They haven't pressed as well, like Carlos said. On back to Arsenal, obviously we just need to forget about the Everton result, if I'm honest with you, people. It happened. It is what it is at this moment in time. We can't feel sorry for ourselves. The players did look a bit nervous at the weekend for whatever reason. They need to remember, and we need to remember, this is a good chance for us to get into the Champions League. And if we finish outside the top 4, let's be honest, if we finish outside the top 4, people, and we won Europa League and got Champions League, we're gonna gas it. Same way United fans gassed it, we're gonna gas it. The league is obviously gonna matter, but it ain't gonna matter because you can't really banter us. You can't run bands because we're back. You can't banter us about Thursday nights and that. But we need to do a madness, man. Obviously Xhaka and Koscielny, they missed out at the weekend. Hopefully they'll be back. I can't lie, I'd start Koscielny and I would start Xhaka. Not to say Xhaka is the midfield maestro or the Swiss Xavi or anything, and not to say we would have won necessarily if he was there at Everton, but you kind of see, people, what he kind of gives us. Or if you don't necessarily believe that, you kind of see why he played necessarily so many games under Arsene Wenger and now currently under Unai Emery. So we'll see. Fingers crossed Xhaka's back. Remember, I won't say sounded pessimistic in the post-game comments, but I'm going to take his word and assume they're actually out, to be fair with you. So in regards to the lineup, people, I'd probably go... It'd be a 4-1-1-2 sort of thing, people, to be fair with you, or just to make it sensible, or 4-3-1-2, just to make it easier. I'll go with Leno. I'll go with Maitland-Niles, but I actually see Unai Emery playing Mustafi at right back, to be fair with you. That's what I feel, but I'll go with Leno, Maitland-Niles, Mustafi/Koscielny. We're pressed at centre half, so I know Holding's out. I know Mavropanos isn't eligible. So who have we got at centre half? It could even be Lichtsteiner. But in the event that we need to just do something, it's Koscielny if I can, people, or it's Monreal and Mustafi. I mean, yeah, man. I know Socrates. I swear Socrates can play in this. I'm bugging. Wait, or did Socrates get suspended in Europa as well? No, he didn't, man. I swear Socrates can play in this. That's the Prem, people. Socrates is cool, people. So it's Socrates and Koscielny, obviously Mustafi and Koscielny if possible. Mixing myself up now, people. Koscielny and Socrates if possible. Obviously, if Koscielny can't play, Mustafi and Socrates, sorry. To which in that case I would move to the left hand side. I'd actually move Monreal to the left hand side in place of Kohler. Now it's a difficult decision. Monreal, why I would say Monreal is because he's a bit more pessimistic as a defender. As you see, he's a bit more neutral. Obviously, Monreal, don't sell us short. He looks as the least defensive option out of the two because of how Kohler is as a player. But Monreal, at a point, used to chip in with assists, and he is decent going forward. So I'd still back him to give us that, and he'd have to give us that. But he's a bit more pessimistic. So I'd probably play him. Just with my thinking with that is probably what Napoli could do against us, and like I said, how they counter-attack quickly, how they play good football, how they've got good scorers, goal scorers and things like that. But at the same time, it's a tricky one for Unai Emery and myself, because as much as Kohler didn't necessarily have the best of games on Sunday, what he can give us on the left-hand side, especially with what I'm calling for a brave performance, to be attacking, to do things in less touches, to play forward, to ask questions of the defence. Kohler's one of our most attacking threats on his day, and when he wants to get going defensively, there's question marks still, but going forward, different gravy, man. He didn't have the best games against Everton, but let's not forget he's done his thing. So it's a difficult one, man. A part of me also wants to play 4-3-3. So yeah, let's continue as well, man. I'm getting sidetracked. So that would be the back four, people. In terms of the midfielders now, again, assuming that Xhaka's out, I'm going with Guendouzi. Now, I love Guendouzi. Again, didn't have the best of games on Sunday, but I'm going to go with Guendouzi. I'm going to go with Torreira. I'm going to go with Aaron Ramsey in the free, because, I mean, you saw what Ramsey, if Xhaka's not out, Ramsey has to play. For me, you saw what Ramsey missed, what we missed when Ramsey came on. I know Ramsey's got his own injury problems as well, and I said that in my post game, and I think Unai Emery alluded to it after the game as well, that it was touch and go. But I'd like to think Ramsey kind of rested up. He was fit enough to be on the bench. He'll be good to go. So Ramsey, Guendouzi, and Torreira up front, well, in midfield, sorry. And then it's a toss-up between Ozil and Mkhitaryan. I feel I'd give it Mkhitaryan, but I'd also give it Ozil. So I'm going to say Mkhitaryan, but it's a toss-up. And you lot know who goes up front, people. Let's not be silly. And Lacazette and Aubameyang. So to recap, obviously you've got Leno, you've got Maitland-Niles, you've got Socrates and Mustafi in case Koscielny's not about. On the left-hand side, I'm going with Monreal. In midfield, we're going with Guendouzi, we're going with Torreira, we're going with Aaron Ramsey. In midfield, again, in the sort of 10 row ahead of the midfielders, toss up between Mkhitaryan and Ozil, and then the two men in Aubameyang and Lacazette. But we just need to win. We need to put ourselves in the best position going into that second leg, man. The best position would be winning this game, going away with a clean sheet, and then they would have no choice but to kind of attack us at Napoli. Now, I say that, but the context of with their fans and stuff, and how Carlo Ancelotti is, he's a very experienced and cerebral manager. He wouldn't tell them to panic, and he's very street smart. He's bound to have done his homework and done his homework on Arsenal in more ways than I or you can comprehend and even begin to sit here and explain, people. But yeah, man, like Carlo Ancelotti's a big don. I don't know if he necessarily still has affection for Chelsea and that, but he could give his ex-Chelsea people them something to smile about, complicating matters for us. We knew we were gonna have to play teams like this sooner or later, and to be the best, you got to play the best. So bring them on. To be fair with you, and Napoli, I believe they can present a lot of threats to us. But if we play to our best of abilities and we play to our strengths, and the fans get behind us, and we be street smart and do what we need to do, then the world's our oyster, and I back us, man. But it's gonna be a good game, and we'll sit here and speak about it after the game. But for now, people, guys, Deluded, I'm out.